Hi guys, welcome back on yet another one. This is of course our entertainment where I see and I report back. Back again on another one. Back again in these New York streets reporting live. And I have to say, the streets have been talking. The streets have been yapping. The streets have been giving their opinion. They've been saying this is what's happening. That's alleged. Eddie did this. Wendy Osefo did that. And I'm about to give my take. And the truth is, I think the millions and millions and millions of y'all are gathered here today because y'all want to hear my take. Y'all really want to hear what I personally think regarding this Wendy Osefo case. I'm going to say alleged to avoid any legal cases, any suings that might occur. And I'm going to give you my take. I genuinely think that Wendy and Eddie have been doing this since the beginning. I think they've been doing this before even they came into the Real Housewives of Potomac. This is of alleged. Alleged. This is genuinely my take, my opinion. I feel like they've been running this for a while. They know how to do this. To essentially do 67 in total, it's a lot. It takes practice, it takes time. So I get this feeling that they've been doing this for a while. And the minute, but back then it was should probably just cover like a couple of bills. It was probably just like, okay, I'm gonna just do it here and there, and then I'm just gonna cover this and this, and I'm just gonna cover this phone bill. Okay, the kids need to go to school. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead, take a little $200 here, and just cover this. Okay, the car needs to be paid. I'm gonna take a little. They've been doing this, but for essentially like small amounts, nothing too big, nothing so much that it could alert or become fraudulent until Wendy got to Real Housewives of Potomac. The game changed. She was introduced to a completely different lifestyle. She was introduced to a completely mega filled 24 hours, cameras, people recording, us, audience, consuming her, watching her live, critiquing her every move, the clothes that she's wearing, the bag that she's carrying, the way she looks as her mom, the way she presents herself, her body, her shape. We were looking and judging at every particular thing. And she felt the social pressure. And she did what most celebrities do. She gave into it. She gave into the pressure. She gave into the aesthetics of it all. And that's essentially what most housewives tend to do. Most housewives tend to give into the social pressure of having to keep up with the Kardashians, to keep up with the Jones, to keep up with the latest things, to keep up with the housewives, to keep up with the franchise. Essentially, that particular mindset of keeping up with the Jones. And this is what we are seeing. What happened with Dorit when she was off at the Hamptons, her, Kyle, and Rachel, that trip that she organized. She spent $4,000 and all her cards were declining. Essentially, the last card that she used went through. But that shows that what's happening is that she's keeping up. She's trying to keep up with the Jones, and she's at the same time she's saying she doesn't know her affairs. But you know what? I digress. Going back to Wendy, I feel like the same thing is happening with her. The same thing happened with her. She got to the season. She was herself. She was a professor. We knew who she was. You know what I'm saying? We knew her profession. She had a lot of degrees. We loved the fact that she could articulate herself. We liked the fact that even in an argument, she could well articulate herself without getting, rusty, ratchet, or just being, malicious in any type of way. She could essentially she could put her to point and all of us could follow and understand what she's saying. She could be in a mood and articulate herself in a way that sometimes she would degrade the ladies. She would, of course, shade the ladies, but because that's what the show is about. But in that same breath, we liked the fact that she was educated and we could hear it even when she spoke. The way she articulated herself is one of the things we loved about her. The way she carried herself, the way she deemed education. The husband, Eddie Osefo, an attorney, also another one. a graduate. So we both knew that these are two powerful, independent couples that are coming together and they are building something beautiful. So essentially, we thought, okay, they're doing well. They stay in a nice, beautiful home in the Potomacs, a beautiful, beautiful kids, beautiful neighborhood. But the minute she got on the screen, she felt under the social pressure. She then got surgery, changed her body, started wearing labels, keeping up with the Jones. Then she realized that, okay, I'm going to go back, do this particular fraud that they're now accused of, this particular big scandal that's making the headlines. But now she said, okay, I'm going to take bigger amounts because I have bigger things I need to now keep up with my lifestyle that I currently have created for myself. So it is that story. I honestly feel like it's that. And my point also that I want to make is that I think, apart from that, the social pressure and the fact that they gave into it, Wendy gave into the social pressure, the revamping of the house, with have the finances being in that, having to claim insurance fraud. Why are you revamping? If you even have to claim, it means you don't have the financial capacity to revamp. So wait a minute. Take your time, breathe, brace yourself into it. And I feel like she was earning the Bravo paycheck. It's also a nice paycheck to earn. They were okay. I honestly, a part of me feels like they got a little too greedy. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, let me retract that statement and say they gave into the social pressure. They gave into the social pressure, which is what most of them tend to do. Another point that I also want to make is that I feel like, oh, I'm going to say again, alleged, because again, these are my thoughts. I feel like Wendy knew from the beginning what she was doing, and she planned the exit plan in the sense that if I am to get caught, this is what's going to happen. I feel like she knew from the beginning, and then she planned the exit that, okay, if we are to get caught, you, Eddie, are going to take the blame. You, my husband, are going to take the blame. We're going to have separate trials. Because she's very she's very familiar. She was an anchor at BBC. I could be wrong, but some a station where she would give out her political thoughts pertaining to legal issues that are happening in American politics. So she's very well versed in legislations and how the courts and how proceedings tend to take place. And she's very aware that they tend to be very lenient when it comes to mothers as compared to fathers. And she knows that she's more likely to get a lighter sentence because she is a mom. And the fact that she is a woman, it's going to work for her favor. So I do feel like she planned the exit strategy. She was aware that if I'm going to find myself in this particular predicament, this is what I'm going to do. This is the exit strategy. And she planned it from the beginning until the end. Until the end, she knew what she was going to do, because you can even see the way she's carrying herself. I think Wendy is wise. I think Wendy is wise, and we're not giving her the credit that she's due, because all of this scandal, they were both in it. I'm sorry that I'm not really counting Eddie, because I'm speaking on Wendy, because she is the Real Housewife star that we are all familiar with. But both of them were in it. Do I think that she knew more? Yes. Why do I feel like this? I feel like I'm about to spill some more tea. The episode that aired on Real Housewives Wife Swap, and it was Wendy and Eddie's episode. It was evident when it was the episode, the episode, that Wendy is the one that's in control. Wendy is the one that's in charge. Everyone fears Wendy. She's the mother. She's the mother, you know? So with that household being led in that type of manner, I feel like she said, this is what's going to happen. And they both knew. And Eddie is going down for this. And Wendy is going to bag more episodes, more seasons on the Real Housewives of Potomac. She's going to bag more seasons. We're about to see her for the next decade for 10 more seasons. I tell you, 10. She's about to do 10 years in the Real Housewives of Potomac, because We are going to want to know. We're going to want to be invested. What's happening? What's going on? So because of that, she's guaranteed herself a peach. She's guaranteed herself a peach. She's guaranteed herself a peach. She has it. She's stayed. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. But essentially, those are my thoughts. And this is why you guys have gathered here. See you on another one.